Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rudy McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. Reflecting on the Israel-Hamas war that started exactly 1 month ago, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa, said in an interview with the Italian daily L'Osservatore Romano that now was the time for closeness. The Cardinal said it is crucial to be able to listen to people's demands, understand them without judging, understand what they contain and where they come from. He said we must love everyone, including the Jew and the Muslim, the Israeli and the Palestinian. Separately on Tuesday, families of Israeli hostages held by Hamas inside Gaza met with US senators in Washington, D.C. to show support for their loved ones and seek their release. During the weekend, pro-Palestine demonstrators vandalized the White House gates and several monuments in Washington, D.C. during a protest march against Israel's efforts to eradicate Hamas militants in Gaza. The New York Post shared footage of the protest in which demonstrators were seen pushing on the White House gate and smearing it with red paint. Thousands of protesters assembled at Freedom Plaza on Saturday, seeking a truce in the Gaza Strip, as well as an end to the United States' support for Israel. In a statement, the Metropolitan Police Department said it received reports of minor incidents in the district, including property damage. However, police said they had not received reports of any major incidents. It also said an investigation was underway into the acts of vandalism to the McPherson Square metro station and several police vehicles. The permanent observer of the Holy See to the United Nations denounced the unprecedented escalation of violence in Israel and Palestine and is demanding the pursuit of a just peace. Archbishop Gabriele Caccia spoke before the UN General Assembly in New York about the humanitarian situation in Gaza and called for the protection of civilians in the Gaza Strip. He condemned the October 7th Hamas terrorist act, which claimed 1,400 Israeli lives. Archbishop Caccia reiterated the appeal made by Pope Francis, requesting the quick release of hostages and calling for a just peace. Meanwhile, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk is on a 5-day visit to the Middle East to engage with government officials and civil society on human rights violations in the region. At least 7 people were killed and 20 others were injured when a bomb blast hit a minibus in Afghanistan's capital city, Kabul. The Islamic State on Tuesday claimed responsibility for the attack on the bus. According to a police spokesman, the attack took place in the capital's western Dashti-Barchi region, which is primarily home to Shiite Muslims. An investigation into the attack is already underway. UN Special Rapporteur on the state of human rights in Afghanistan, Richard Bennett, decried the blast and said it was the third strike against the ethnic Hazara Shiite population in less than a month. In the US state of Ohio, voters have said yes to a constitutional amendment that enshrines a right to abortion. Top Republicans and parental rights groups, along with faith leaders, said the issue went too far, and in many cases even further than Roe v. Wade did. Governor Mike DeWine said it was pretty clear that this constitutional amendment goes further. Pro-life leader and activist Lila Rose said the proposed law that makes abortion a right in the state constitution empowers the brutal abortion industry and hurts women who are being coerced to terminate their pregnancies. Currently, abortion is legal in the state until 22 weeks of pregnancy. Belarusian authorities have placed Nobel Peace Prize winner Ales Bialiatski in solitary confinement. His wife, Natalia Pinchuk, announced on Tuesday that the 61-year-old is serving a 10-year term despite being severely ill, and prison officials have tightened conditions for him. Bialiatski's attorney was denied access to speak with him after the laureate was moved to solitary confinement because of alleged disciplinary violations. A prominent advocate for human rights in Belarus and a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2022, Bialiatski was found guilty in March of sponsoring acts that contravene public order and smuggling. He has been serving his sentence at a prison colony for repeat offenders in the city of Gorky. The facility is infamous for inmates being beaten and subjected to hard labour. United Arab Emirates Foreign Minister Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan met with Vatican Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin in the capital Abu Dhabi. Cardinal Parolin and Al Nahyan spoke on how to strengthen human brotherhood and promote a culture of tolerance by strengthening bilateral ties. The gathering occurred concurrently with the World Summit of Religious Leaders for Climate, which concluded in Abu Dhabi on the 7th of November. Its purpose was to prepare for the visit of Pope Francis to Dubai from December the 1st to the 3rd to attend the COP28 Climate Summit. New research published by the Foundation for Defense of Democracies shows that there are 15 militias supported by Iran in the Middle East. It is also alleged they act as a force multiplier for the nation's opposition to Israel and the United States. While it is well known that Iran supports Hezbollah, Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the research points out that Iran has a long-term operation underway to construct and co-opt militias in Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Bahrain and in Saudi Arabia. The report was released at a time when the Biden administration is being questioned about its agreements with Iran, including a $6 billion prisoner exchange that was reportedly put on hold following the October 7th attack on Israel by Hamas terrorists. Russian Patriarch Kirill has been accused by Ukraine of supporting Russia's invasion of their country. Kirill blamed Ukraine's so-called Satanism for the fighting and promised the souls of Russian soldiers killed in action a place in paradise. He often gives sermons in which he supports the Russian government. According to Ukrainian intelligence, the Patriarch was a senior member of Russia's military and political apparatus before and publicly supported a ground invasion of Ukraine. 2 bishops in England have spoken in support of providing palliative support to a terminally ill baby. Bishop Patrick McKinney of Nottingham and Auxiliary Bishop of Westminster John Sherrington have spoken out over Indy Gregory, an 8-month-old patient at the Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham. They recommended maintaining good palliative care for the patient if the hazards of continuing curative medical therapy outweighed the benefits. From their point of view, ending treatments that aren't needed doesn't free doctors from their duty to provide life-sustaining care. They said that these procedures are seen as necessary by the Church so that these young children may die without suffering and with respect. Although a court had blocked the transfer of the child to an overseas hospital, the Italian Parliament granted her citizenship so that she could be treated at the Holy See's Bambino Gesù Hospital. The Catholic Bishop of Mamfe Diocese in Cameroon is denouncing the murder of innocent people at Igbeko, which is within the diocese. Unknown gunmen reportedly opened fire on residents of the village in the early morning of the 6th of November, killing at least 20 people and injuring many before burning down homes and other properties. Bishop Aloysius Abangalo detailed the attack in a statement released on Monday. The prelate assured his closeness to the families of the deceased and urged prayers for the injured. Although no organisation has taken responsibility for the incident, several local media outlets speculate that Anglophone separatists are behind the attack to sabotage Cameroonian President Paul Biya's 41st anniversary in power. Nationwide festivities were set to take place on the day of the attack. Catholic bishops in the United States are expressing their support for a nationwide abortion ban intended to protect unborn babies after 15 weeks of pregnancy. The chairman of the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops Committee on Pro-Life Activities wrote a letter thanking Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina for introducing the Protecting Pain-Capable Unborn Children from Late-Term Abortions Act, calling it a positive step towards protecting the right to life of preborn children. Bishop Michael Burbidge of Arlington decried that abortion not only ends the life of the child, but also harms the mental and physical health of the mother. He emphasised that the Catholic Church will never cease working for laws that protect human life from its beginning, supporting mothers in need and ultimately making abortion unthinkable. The Knights of Columbus, the largest Catholic lay organisation, clocked a major milestone by donating their 1 millionth coat through the Coats for Kids programme on the 6th of November. Supreme Knight Patrick Kelly took part in the distribution of 1,000 coats to underprivileged children at Annunciation Catholic School in Denver. Along with the coats came a donation of $10,000 to each of the 5 schools involved. Since 2009, the Knights of Columbus have been donating high-quality winter coats to needy children in 49 American states and all 10 Canadian provinces. They have also distributed coats on US military bases and Native American and First Nation reservations in the US and in Canada. A research team at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. has released a report that focuses on generational dynamics, polarization, and the continuing effects of the sexual abuse crisis. The new survey of priests, conducted by the Catholic Project, has found that clergymen who identify as progressive are becoming increasingly rare among US seminary graduates. The research also found that the majority of young ordinands identify as conservative and as orthodox. The responses of over 3,500 priests from close to 200 American dioceses and eparchies were a significant part of the study. Researchers said that among priests ordained after 2020, the percentage of those who identify as conservative or orthodox has risen to more than 80%. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again tomorrow for more. And do remember, you can always visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.